the corner where the trees at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We touched down from a higher plane. Why you made it here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We about to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfare.
This episode of Chief Concerns is brought to you by betonline.ag. Hey there, Marcus Dash here from Chief Concerns. Just want to comment and say BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for football, baseball, boxing, golf, and much more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Chief Concerns. I'm Marcus Dash here with legendary Chiefs tight end, my guy, Jason Dunn. JD, how we doing, brother?
How's it going? What's going on? How you doing, brother? You doing all right?
I'm doing fantastic, man. You know what? Like we talk about the offseason, and I know like every year during the season, obviously the topics write themselves because, you know, we're previewing the game coming up, but I love the offseason where you and I can kind of go a la carte and go pretty much pick where we want to go with the offseason episode. So I'm excited about that, and there's some good news. I mean, there's some interesting news, one that we'll get into it later on the show. But, yeah, I'm feeling great. How you doing, brother?
Doing well. I'm doing all right, man. You know, it's beautiful Wednesday evening, and so you know, I'm trying to take everything in. It's sinking in that it is off season, and there are things happening. Trying to keep on the ticket as far as like who's making moves, who's doing what, and it was very interesting to look at some of like the new coaches and their staff who they're putting in. As far as guys getting places, I haven't really seen a whole lot of that. So I haven't really checked anything today to see what was going on, but I know it's going to be heating up. These next couple of weeks is going to be a very telling tale about what teams are doing for their future. So very interesting, man. How about you? What's going on with you, man? You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Yeah, no, I mean, obviously with the I think Thursday, tomorrow is the day where teams can start tagging players. So that's the first step to things. We'll see what happens. A lot of rumors and speculation, of course. That's agents trying to drum up stuff. Teams, as you know, teams trying to drum up stuff to see who's interested in what. And then obviously next week we'll see what happens with at the combine. See if any more speculation and conversations come of that next week. Obviously, a lot of teams are trying to vie for that top pick to get the top quarterback. So we're going to see a lot of those rumors of teams trading the house to go get the number one pick for potentially Caleb Williams, who everyone's saying is the next Patrick Mahomes.
They can say a whole lot of different things. You know, the mouth says anything. I learned that a long time ago. The mouth says anything, but the reality is, will he be a Patrick Mahomes of the future? Nobody knows that. Nobody knows. Yeah, he's got a lot of football to be doing. You know, what you did in college means nothing. What happens in the NFL? Sorry, it's just the way it works.
And generally, the number one quarterback, just look at historically, the first quarterback taken in drafts usually doesn't live up to the hype that they have surrounding them. I think I love Caleb Williams. He's a DC kid, so I mean, I saw him going to private school down the street from me, so I kind of got to see him grow up a little bit. So I'm rooting for him, obviously, but you know, a lot of pressure is on those number one guys, especially guys when you're hearing Patrick Mahomes comparisons. That's a lot of stuff and a lot of hype to be put on a young kid.
Look, man, I learned a long time ago, and I keep saying it is, you know, using somebody's name and a great in the same sentence never works. Never works until they really pan out and they show you that. Then I would reserve the whole comparison, right, or the next Patrick Mahomes, the next anything. Let him be the first Caleb Williams when he comes in, right? and see what he can do from that point on. But I think sometimes it's unfair to start comparing guys to greatness, right? Like Patrick Mahomes. I mean, we know that he's a phenomenal talent in of itself, and to do this for this young gentleman coming in, I don't know, man. I wouldn't go that far yet.
Yeah, it's a big mountain to climb if you're going to say a guy's comparative to the best quarterback in the league, arguably one of the best quarterbacks of all time already. So, it's a tough thing to put on a kid, especially a 22-year-old.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot because he's sitting over like, oh, I got to be the next Batman. No, you don't. You don't have to. You be the first Caleb boy. How about that? You just be that. So.
Exactly. And hey, that's pretty good enough already. He's already a Heisman, so there you go. So
I
Monday,
I like your hat.
You like this?
I like that.
That's from when you were there, Reebok, baby.
Yeah, I like the color, man. Pops with the red on top. It works.
Yeah.
It's growing on me. It's really growing on me. I like the yellow though. It looks good. It looks good.
I appreciate it. I remember when you were playing, they made this is where I got it. It was around that time, so obviously my head hasn't grown at all since what 2007, 2008. Yeah, my head stayed the same. I remember they made a lot of the one that Herm wore was the red hat with the white KC without the arrowhead over top of it.
Okay, got the same style like that.
Same style. It was just red with white lettering.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember Herm first made that hat when they made that one out with the without the arrowhead on it. I remember seeing that. I went to go to the store to get that. It was around the time where not every mall had lids yet, so you had to rely on Champs or one of those stores that have hats within the mall. And I remember they didn't have the red one, but they had the yellow one. I was like, all right, yeah, let's do that. Why not?
Oh, yeah.
Why
it looks good. It looks
Thanks.
good.
I appreciate it. So with this episode, we're going to obviously get into the off-season topics, but before that, JD promised to show you all some of the photos and videos he had from the parade that he went to last week. So we got those here. JD's got them for us. So we're gonna start the episode off with looking at some of what JD got into during the parade. JD, you sent me a bunch of stuff. I could load most of them. Some of the video clips I could not load, but I have 3 or 4 of them that we'll be able to show.
Okay.
So here we go. We're gonna go with the. So JD, talk to us about what we got here.
So the one on the left, the Chiefs Kingdom, those are the flyover guys. Those are the ones that do the flyovers for the games. Really cool guys, man. Cool pilots. And I always enjoy everything that they do. Like when I look at things like this, I'm like, man, can I have a picture with you guys? It's like, man, we'd love to have a picture with you. I'm like, man, absolutely. So it's kind of, respect and admiration from both sides, man. But these guys, man, are awesome. I'm always in awe of the things that they do. Just flying the planes and whatnot. So yeah, I had to pay homage to them dudes, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they told me their names. I didn't get to. I don't remember right now, but those guys are awesome dudes, man.
Now, are these the same I mean, I don't really know much about the flyovers. Are these the same flyover guys that were doing the flyovers for your games back in the early 2000s, or they changed it up?
No, I think they switch it up. So,
okay.
I'm sure it's probably just different pilots every single year, or if they like 2 or 3 years, they may move on to something else. But obviously, you come from the Air Force Base down there, so yeah, good guys. That's cool. To the right, as you see, man. So this is if you're looking at Union Station, this will be on the east side of it. And so I ran into a few fans back that way, some kids, and I had to tell them who I was. I didn't quite know. Like, well, who are you? I was signing. I go, who are you? I'm like, I'm Jason Dunn. So really cool kids.
That's
you can
cool.
see them. Everybody having a good time. And they was all awesome. The parents and stuff. Everybody was kind of there. So yeah, it was really cool, man. Like the mass of people. You can even see somebody up in the tree over there to the right. I mean, over by the sidewalk, man. It was when I'm talking about sea of red from eye to sea. As far as your eye can see, that's exactly what it was. Mm-hmm. So yeah. So maybe I don't watch commercials as much as I guess everybody else But this dude was taking pictures with everybody.
That's okay. I was trying to figure out who that was. That was the guy in the Bud Light commercial.
The Bud Light guy. Yeah. I just see the commercial like this past week. I'm like, man, that's him. But when I was, we obviously were in the same section, and he's running around and taking pictures with different people. He's got like a whole camera crew with him. But I would know he was cool. It was really cool. And so we just, took a little selfie right here. But he was, going over to the kids and everybody else also just kind of taking pictures, man. Good guy. It's cool.
That's cool.
You see our buddy, our pal, Nick Wright, sitting over there with him, man. And so he was coming through. And we see him, we kind of just met right there in the middle. I'm like, Nick, man, Jason Dunn. Yeah. He's like, yeah, I know exactly who you are. I was like, yeah. And I was just like, man, I just love everything you do, just representing Kansas City and the Chiefs and all of that, man. So we had a nice little brief conversation. I was like, yo, Nick, we got to do a picture real quick. He said, man, absolutely love to. And so, we went ahead and flashed one real quick. Should have told him, man, we got to get him out on Chief Concerns, see if he could come and talk to us and talk a little bit about it. I know he does. He's very busy. He's a very busy guy, man. It was good seeing him, though. And you can see the smile on his face, the adulation he had just through the day. His Chiefs have been rocking with him the entire time, as he should, man. And, they make Nick look good for the simple fact, man, the Chiefs made us all look good.
Yeah, and he does a lot of KC like radio spots and different things locally still, even though he's got a busy schedule up in New York with what he does the first things first. So yeah, it'd be great to have him on, especially during the off season. Have him come on, see what he wants to get into. Yeah, and plus too, we just made a video on our channel yesterday highlighting some of the bad takes from one of the other guys on his channel, and Jason McIntyre. So maybe he wants to talk about that a little bit with us too.
Yeah, that'd be good, man. Be good. We had to reach out to his people, see what he says. Be great to have him on the show and talk a little Chiefs football.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is big brother right here, Neil Smith. We're taking a picture together. I told Neil, and I think I sent this on, put it on my Twitter page, because I had maybe one of those the vintage Chiefs that he does a good job of just sending different pictures and stuff out. One was Neil doing that, his baseball swing, home run swing. And so I was like, yo, man, this is big dog right here. Neil's as good as people as there is. And so we just, right there, just taking a picture right there. You see the crowd behind us, just enjoying it, man. Always good seeing Neil, though, man. Good people. It's great. A lot of good things for the community, man. Everybody knows who he is. So, yeah, big dog out there right now. So
it's cool. A guy who did leave the Chiefs to go get a Super Bowl elsewhere. It's cool to see how he still, is in like he's still in, the Kansas City Chief community. You know what I mean? So I think it's really cool.
Well, I thought it was crazy. Like, people was like, oh, yeah, I never forget what he did to us. And I'm like, man, look, you hold on to things like that. That's amazing to me. It is. That's amazing to me.
Well, I find it funny, too, because like now that we are the Super Bowl championship team and we're hoping for the veterans to come to us for like 1 or 2 year deals, they should understand why he did what he did, because he wanted, he had a great career. He wanted to be able to get his ring. So he went elsewhere. It just happened to be, our division rival, but,
Yeah. Hey, things happen, man. It's business, right?
It's a business, not personal.
No.
Oh, I know that familiar guy. It's a friend of the show right there.
Yeah. Yes, sir. So we have right there, that's Chris Bober, offensive tackle with the Chiefs. Bo's, man, with him was hanging out there at the parade, man. So he's right behind the barrier. So I was like, Bo's, man, we got to take a picture. And so, of course, that's what we were doing in front of the part of Chiefs Kingdom, the Red Kingdom, man. But it was just, it's just massive. You could just see it, just massive amount of people just out here, just celebrating the Chiefs. And so, of course, on the right, moving over to this is, I'm just capturing different parts of, the parade and where everybody is. And so it's good people. You see them, everybody just having a good time, man. You see it, but just some really good people out there enjoying the celebration.
Yeah, deservedly so, man. We waited a long time. Yeah. We waited a long time, and most fan bases don't get to celebrate as much as we are nowadays.
Yeah.
Let's go left to right here, JD. Who I was trying to identify who was in this picture. I think I got to identify two of them, but
Okay.
go for it.
Left to right. We'll have to start with G Steels, Gary Steels.
That's great.
Yeah, man. G Steels, man. You know, the special teamer, outside linebacker. His son came up for a stint with the Chiefs, ended up getting hurt. But G Steels, man, is like one of the most, I say in my mind, most underrated guys that ever put on Chiefs jersey. The things he was able to do special teams wise, he is like the epitome of like what special teams is all about. That's G Steels, 100%.
Yes, Stills and Kinnear and Fox, man. They were one of the guys. When people talk about those teams from back in the day, they don't really. Those are two guys that people don't get mentioned enough. And Gary Stills and Kinnear and Fox, man.
Yeah, G Steels, outside linebacker, defensive end, body type. Then of course it's yours truly, as debonair as ever. Then Chris Bober right there in the middle. Keith Cash, another tight end right there.
Oh, that's who that was. That's amazing. We got that number 89 fraternity over there, JD.
Yeah. Tight ends, man. We keep it right. We got Tim Barnett, of course, sitting over there with the white cup in his hand, enjoying it. Part of the KC Ambassadors. This is part of the KC Ambassadors Club. This is what this is. And this, our scholar, Dannon Hughes, right there to the right. Enjoying the entire festivities. And so we had a section of like KC ambassadors, former players all sitting over there, man. It's always good to see my brothers out there enjoying themselves. And, we want to be in a celebration, just watching the younger guys being able to achieve this a vaunting experience. And we want to celebrate them with that. So that's who it is.
Cool. That's really cool.
It's there too, but he had dipped to the other side. But go ahead.
No, I was saying I think it's really cool how former players, and the Chiefs do a good job when they're doing the trophy ceremony to recognize the history in the past and kind of bring it all together like in full circle and stuff. And I think that parade and the ceremony there, they did a really good job of kind of like connecting the past Chiefs teams and Chiefs rosters. And I think it's all really poetic and beautiful. You guys are there to celebrate that, the history, Chiefs history being there.
Oh yeah. Well, it's a brotherhood. That's how it is. It's a brotherhood. So, you come back, man, you celebrate all these things with these guys because at some point, those guys are going to be where we're at. You're tired, done with the game. And, younger guys are going to come up, and what you want to do is you want to show them, hey, how you doing? We support you. We got your back all the way. How to be part of the community and whatnot. So, sure. KC Ambassador do a tremendous job in the community.
Yep. And then we got video clips. So I'm going to play this right now, JD.
All right.
I put it all on one collective video thing here, so I'll just play it.
Okay.
That was cool. The confetti's that was really awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was I don't know, I think I was talking to my brother. I think I seen somebody was selling Super Bowl confetti. It was like going for
a lot. Yeah, I remember during Super Bowl 54, I remember going on eBay. There was a lot of it, and then also there were some writers from the Athletic, I guess, or Sports Illustrated. They were doing like auctions for their confetti that they could collected at it.
Me and my brother were laughing. I was like, jokers back there cutting up confetti, like, hey man, sell this right here.
Yeah, like getting red and yellow cut, and I kind of crumbling up a little bit so it looks like it was utilized. People stepped on it.
Yeah. How do you know it's official confetti from the Super Bowl? You have no idea. You just buying whatever. Yeah, I get it, man.
But a really good time, JD. I'm glad you got to go. And we had some comments here. JD networking with the Chief Concerns hat. JD repping the CC hat.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
There you go.
Got to do that. Because part of it is, man, like, we try to get more people to see this wonderful show that we put on, Marcus.
Yes, sir.
Right? We want people to get to jump in on all of this.
Yes, sir.
So, everybody got to have a good taste of this nugget, man. We give out some really good nuggets out here, man.
Sweet treats all year long, baby.
All year.
All right. So JD and I have some interesting stuff to talk about tonight. One of which I'm curious to hear where you stand on this, JD, because a lot of Chief fans are really pissed off about this. I think you may. I mean, if you go on social media today, you'd have seen a little bit about this whole Antonio Pierce trying to do a little throwback Raiders Chief rivalry type stuff. So we'll begin with Antonio Pierce making some comments about his Mahomes rules that he's calling it. So in a recent episode of Max Crosby's The Rush podcast, Antonio Pierce discussed how he got his team ready to play the Chiefs before they pulled off their 20-14 Christmas Day upset in KC, which was the last loss. And, of course, Andy Reid says it's the turnaround for us. In the week before the game, Antonio Pierce expressed to his team that they need to hate the color red and showed them videos of famous boxing and MMA matches and how the NBA's Detroit Pistons, the Detroit Bad Boys, approached playing Hall of Famer Michael Jordan in the late 1980s with a tough defensive game plan devised by Coach Chuck Daly. And I have the clip right here, so we're going to play that.
You got the Jordan rules, and I'm calling now from now on, as long as I'm here, the Patrick Mahomes rules. So you remember when Jordan was going through it with the Pistons, all those guys in the 80s before he came Michael Jordan, Air Jordan, the Pistons used to whoop his. Anytime he came to the hole, elbows, filling them, love taps. We touched them. We're in the head, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. I'm touching you. So I showed those guys Jordan getting his whooped.
So I think Pro Football Talk wrote a whole article today about how they think that the NFL will kind of review this and talk to the Raiders about this because apparently they've cracked down on a lot of this extra, maybe dirty type stuff, inciting dirty stuff since the whole bounty game with the Saints. How there's anything inciting dirtiness here. I think it's just more physical attitude he's trying to give a team that's been kind of forgotten over the last 2 decades. But JD, what are your thoughts on Antonio Pierce's messaging here to the team?
I don't see anything wrong with it at all. Not one bit. I mean, you do everything you can to motivate your guys to get the job done. I don't think he's sitting there saying they're targeting him, Patrick, in a way that is illegal or after the whistle. Now, if you're saying just touching him and bumping him and whatnot, I mean, that's going to happen on the plays anyway. All he's saying is just let him know that you're there all the time. And so psychologically, you want to try to get into your opponent's head. I have no problem with that whatsoever. It's what they say, all fair is in love and war, right? So it's war out there on the football field. That's the way it is. And so, you don't necessarily give all the niceties and things of that nature, all the friendliness. You can. So you could choose to be that guy. But the coaches ask you like, hey man, you want to go up there and just give him a little tug, a little bump, little jaw bump, just talking to him, jaw with him a little bit. You know what I mean? So I don't find there's anything wrong with it whatsoever. Now, if you're talking about late hits and all of those different things, totally different. That's a totally different thing. And I think you need to be investigated if you're saying those things. But Antonio Pierce is not saying that at all. He's talking about the type of the treatment that the Detroit Pistons gave Michael Jordan. When Jordan came in, they clobbered him. He came in the paint. You make him pay for it. You make him feel it. Okay, you bump it. You know what that did to Jordan? Okay, I'm gonna tell you what it did to Jordan. When they made it the Jordan rule, the Detroit Pistons decided to go after Michael Jordan. Okay, bumping him, hitting him, tearing him down and whatnot. Michael Jordan decided to change up his routine. He went in, he started lifting weights. He started getting better. He started learning how to deal with all those bumps and bruises. And guess what? He won championships against the bad boys. You know why? Because that made him better. That type of competition made him better. Crosby should know that. Crosby went to him, and Patrick told him, like, you woke up the wrong. That's what he told you. You woke up the wrong day. That's what happened. I'm here. Guess what, guys? I am here. Bring everything you need to bring. Bump me if you want to, but I'm going to tell you, you're going to pay for it. That's what's going to end up happening. And guess what? Hey, they got the better of the Chiefs that day. They got the better of the Chiefs. But guess what that did? We made the entire NFL pay for it. That turned it on for us, right? And so we benefited off of that. Hey, thank you, Antonio Pierce. Appreciate it. We should be thanking him. We should be congratulating him right now in awakening a sleeping giant. How about that? I'll go there with that part. Because now all of a sudden, Patrick and them guys was like, man, look, we got a butts kick. Now everything changes for us. Now this is the come to the, we need to go inside having the closed door sessions with the players only, no coaches. If we're going to do this, we got to get it done now. We just got to hand it to us this past weekend. And it was embarrassing. And sometimes you need embarrassing moments like that to step your game up. Everybody needs a heart check, a gut check every once in a while. Thank you for the Raiders giving it to us. And then Antonio Pierce. I appreciate it. So that's why I go with it this, Marcus. That's the way I feel about it. How about that?
I like it. I see there's two I have two reactions to this. So one reaction is thanks for the early bulletin board material, and on top of that, it's also giving us another reason, because Andy Reid even said it. That Christmas Day game was one of those games we came into that game, it's the Raiders. It kind of woke us up a little bit, right? Losing to them, it's oh man, this is a team we don't usually lose to. We lost to them on Christmas Day. This is going to make us make sure we're not sleeping on that game whenever we do play them next year. If that was the case, well, no, not anymore. They're giving this because they're talking about in that podcast how he's given the whole league a blueprint on how to beat the Chiefs. So, like, it's not only they're talking about that, he's also giving that added fuel to the fire as well.
Well, I don't even think it's like the blueprint to beat the Chiefs. I think it's just something. I would be actually shocked if I don't believe every team is doing this. Look, when we win against teams, Coach Ramil or whoever the coach was would show us things on video. He would show us fights. I mean, he showed us Tommy Hearns and I think it was
Hagler Hearns.
Hagler, yes. Show that fight. The rounds that it went to, all the talk leading up to it, the punches being thrown. I mean, it was a brawl from the very beginning to the very end. And it was good to see that. Just going through, telling the story and getting guys mentally ready and prepared into going out slugging. It's a slugfest, okay? It ain't no pillow fights out there. Guys are going out there, man, to tear your neck off. You better be ready. So, yeah, if we came through tiptoeing in that game, it woke us up. And that's exactly what we needed. That's exactly what the doctor ordered. For us to win another Super Bowl, it took that. It's a catalyst to get us to where we needed to get to, Marcus. And, hey, I want to thank Antonio Pierce and the entire Raiders organization for doing your due diligence to get us where we needed to do. Cheers to you, baby. How about that?
The funny part about that is that after the Super Bowl, after we use the Raiders facilities, Reed texts Pierce saying, "Thanks for hosting us. Your facilities are beautiful, and thank you for waking us up on Christmas Day." And I think that's hilarious because I mean that's what he's going with.
That's right. It's true. So, we cut the lights off. We let the place like we got it. So,
it's a flag in the middle of their field at the end of the game too.
Oh yeah.
One thing another thing that I do like with this, and this is maybe an unpopular opinion, and I think I've seen someone in the comments kind of hinting at what I want to get to with this. I think AP wants to pull the Raider culture back, tough physical football, and that's the one thing I do like about this is the fact that Raiders are a historic franchise. Raiders and Chiefs, you can make the argument it's one of the best rivalries of all time in all sports. I think we had a talk about when Mad Dog Rousseau said it was the top 5 rivalry of all time, and I believe that. But like it's trying to bring back this kind of a rivalry between Raiders and Chiefs. Yeah, they've been a forgotten franchise over the last 2 decades, but Antonio Pierce is a guy who never played for the Raiders. He was a Giants pretty much his entire career, or the main part of his career. But he was a Raider fan growing up. He grew up watching the Raiders. I remember there was a whole story David Carr told about when the Giants played the Raiders. Someone scored in the Raiders end zone. He just and someone celebrated in their end zone, the black hole area. And Pierce is pissed off about it. He's like, don't be doing that. Don't be spiking the ball over there. Like, you gotta respect this franchise. And I think it's, I'm not rooting for the Raiders by any means, but I do like that there is a little bit of this going on where it's kind of a renewed rivalry where it's been like Chiefs is beating the crap out of them and like, hey, they woke us up this year, and you know what? And they're still chirping about it. So it's like, okay, all right, are we bringing it back? Is it time to bring back Chiefs Raiders rivalry? And it could be maybe elements of that. I don't think they're going to beat us next year. I think because they beat us this year, we're going to go into it and take care of business next year. Go 2-0 again to get back to that. But I do like the element of, hey, let's get this Chiefs Raiders rivalry thing going again.
I think you have to. I think Antonio Pierce was great for the Raiders to sign him as a head coach, because he is going to bring the whole air of that back, right? He's going to bring, everything that they were, what they're supposed to be, being, like you said, a hard hitting physical team. He brings all of that there. He's got guys there to do it. They just needed somebody to bring them out of it. And it's great for football. It's great for the AFC West. It's great for our rivalry, now our competition, no doubt about it. And so, the Chiefs are not going back down for it. It just makes us better. It makes competition even better, especially in the AFC West, right? In the AFC overall. So, no, that's great. You don't want to compete against people just knowing like, okay, it's just you trying to go into the game. Like, you do need a little bit of that sauciness, okay? That rivalry, a little bit of that hate, disdain for others. You know what I mean? So, no, I like it. I think the guys will enjoy it. But like I said again, man, I'm glad he's the head coach over there. Antonio understands exactly what it means to be a Raider. As far as like growing up in that atmosphere and seeing it. So no better person could have been a head coach for that team other than Antonio Pierce at this time. So
yep,
they needed.
And also, and that staff too. I don't know if you've seen the staff. That they got Marvin Lewis over there. They brought in Joe Philbin, the old Miami Dolphins coach. They got a lot of good pieces there. I think Tom Coughlin may be helping out in some capacity on that team too. So I mean, it's just surrounding with some good guys who've been in the league for a while around these parts for a long time, and also too, forget the Raiders aspect of this. I'm happy Marvin Lewis is getting another shot to be a coordinator again or assistant head coach again, because for whatever reason, I don't know why. I think it was ridiculous that he lost that job in Cincinnati. They lived in the playoffs. Yes, they didn't advance. They lived in the playoffs for a good while, and they got rid of him, and then he never found a DC job anywhere else. And good for him for landing on his feet again.
Absolutely. Somebody recognized him his value. So
yeah,
I agree with you.
Yeah. And we see so many guys in this league come and go, JD, who are like, not talented guys for being coaches. And like, you see a guy who has the proof in the pudding, but yet for some reason he's not getting the job for whatever reason.
Yeah. Shameful.
It's shameful. All right, so we're gonna get into some of the rumors and the off-season stuff that's going on. I do wish the Raiders some luck next year, though, because you're starting the off-season and giving Pat some bulletin board material. So I wish them luck.
No, we don't. We don't wish you nothing.
Yeah.
Like was it Dave Chappelle? Wish all the bad things in the world happen to you. The haters ball. That's what that is.
Exactly. So sticking with kind of division rivalry stuff, this is an interesting one I saw today. So ESPN, obviously with free agency coming along, they're kind of doing these projections as to what they think is going to happen in free agency based on the guys who are going to be there. So obviously with our offseason needs, we talk about wide receivers being one of the biggest needs. And that is, we just had the show Monday. We talked about how, we might see an overhauled, complete new wide receiver room. But one room that we know for sure is probably going to be, as of right now, is going to be probably not that many people in it. There's a running back room. Isaiah Pacheco is the only guy still standing. CH free agent. Jerick McKinnon's a free agent. And with that, ESPN analyst Matt Bowen wrote an article finding the best team fits for ESPN's top 50 free agents. And the one that kind of shocked me in a way, but when I thought about it a little bit more, I was like, okay, this makes a little bit of sense. Was Austin Ekeler. So he wrote, with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Jerick McKinnon heading to free agency, the Chiefs could sign Ekeler on a short-term deal to work in rotation with Isaiah Pacheco. He would give Coach Andy Reid a pass game threat out of 21 personnel with the ability to flex from the backfield. Ekeler caught 51 passes last season with the Chargers and 440 receptions in his career. Re-signing with the Chargers or joining the Raiders would also be good fits for Ekeler. Cap experts also believe that Ekeler's market would be about 1 year, $4 million. Which if you think about it, is identical to the deal we gave Drew Tranquil last year to give a 1 year deal for a guy. So JD, obviously you play fantasy, you know that Ekeler is a solid guy as far as catch the ball in the backfield, running the ball. And I think he'd be a perfect complement. If we do end up losing Jerick McKinnon, CEH, I think it'd be a perfect 1 year fix for those guys. What is your opinion on the potential of getting Austin Ekeler and how would he fit in our scheme?
So who started this rumor? I mean, this is just out here that somebody's saying he'd be a good fit.
Yeah, because it was looking at the free agents and looking at the fit of things.
Yeah. I like Austin Ekeler. I thought that the deal that he signed with the Chargers, I think he wasn't as respected. I think he took a very team-friendly deal with those guys. This past year, I didn't quite see exactly what he's usually used to getting as far as yards wise and whatnot. That could be purposeful why they did that. And he would. I mean, would he fit? Well, yeah, of course. He has a lot of ability, a lot of talent. I think he's a very talented back. He's another one of those guys that he was a free agent, wasn't he? And he came in. I think he was
when he went to San Diego in the first place.
Yeah. I think he was. I think he was a free agent guy, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see.
I mean, he went to Western Colorado.
Undrafted. Yeah, he was
undrafted.
Yeah. So he's an undrafted free agent. So he's still gonna have that chip on his shoulder, man. Feel like he could do a lot. He can catch the ball out the backfield. He's one of those scat guys who can do a lot of different things well. Are we looking more for a guy that can give us, that is more of a dual threat? Yeah, possibly. If we lose McKinnon, if he doesn't come back, obviously it's going to be the element of like blocking for Patrick Mahomes, pass blocking. I don't think Austin Ekeler that's one of his strong suits. I think, matter of fact, he's pretty weak in that position. I at least from what I remember him being. I don't know, if it's improved or not, but we know he's a numbers guy. He's put up a lot of different numbers, man. He can do a lot of different things. So, yeah, I'm sure he could be a good fit. Why not? The question is going to be, with Pacheco being the guy. He's a guy. Pacheco's a guy. And Austin Ekeler coming in, is he a backup role type of guy is the question. Are we looking at to split time between Pacheco and Ekeler? That is the question with these two guys. Because Austin Ekeler is a starter in the league. There's no question about it. I don't care where he goes, he'll be a starter. Does he want to come here as being in the backup role is really the true question. So I don't know if he wants to necessarily do that. I don't know if we necessarily need a guy like Austin Ekeler as compared to you'll take a couple plays from Pacheco, but hey, man, your snaps is going to be limited. It's going to be limited, okay? Because 10 right now is the man. So I don't know.
Yeah, I guess if they kind of reduce the running role that Ekeler had, right? So I mean, you're looking at this past year is one of his worst years he's had since becoming the starting guy over there this past year for Ekeler. But if you reduce his carry role, and he's getting up there in age, I mean, I think he's 30, 31, and we're talking that's an age for running backs where it's like, okay, maybe you need to start to become more of a niche kind of guy at this point, right?
28. He's only 28 years old.
Okay. At 28, but we're talking his touch count. There's a lot of wear on those tires. The amount of touches he's had over the last 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say this, as far as if he was going to come in, it would be a 1 year prove it deal to show he still has some in the tank. You do it on a team that, look at what McKinnon gave us, not this past year because he was hurt all year, but the year before that, being our leading touchdown guy outside of Kelsey. I mean, you put Ekeler in that kind of role that we're giving McKinnon as far as being a threat out of the backfield, as far as catching the ball. And then also, too, we've talked about before, the way Pacheco runs, that's a guy who's, he takes a lot of hits, and the way he runs so aggressive, that's a guy who, maybe he does need to kind of take a little few reps off him as far as to run the ball. Because, I mean, shoulder surgery midway through the season this year? I mean, that's tough.
So I'll say this. To me, running back is not necessarily a priority at this moment. Okay. So I wouldn't be looking to spend money on a running back because we have so many other things to address. I think we could find a pretty decent running back. We could find him in the draft. We'll get a guy. We got Daenerys Prince still on the team. There's guys here that could probably do, that could probably filter in to do a good job at running back. So I wouldn't. So I want to temper the conversation with Austin Ekeler if we don't necessarily need him. We don't necessarily need him right now. Let's just talk. If he comes up and it's like, hey man, he's not necessarily a priority for us. And if he did it, it had to be a team-friendly deal. The Chiefs had to get a team-friendly deal for him as well. But if you're looking to try to get $4 or $5 million or $6 million, we got other priorities. Hey, appreciate it. Kick you on down the road. We'll make sure we tell Drew Tranquil you said hello.
Well, that's the thing, because I looked at that when I saw that these with the cap experts like projection for what he could make this offseason. And obviously, over the last few years, we've talked about how the running backs aren't getting paid jack anymore. A guy like that who is 28, who has a lot of wear in his tires. If we're talking a 1 year, $3 million deal for Ekeler just to kind of give us what Tranquil did on the offensive end, as far as spelling Pacheco and being a little bit of threat of the backfield, I would take that and run with it if we got Pacheco 1 year, $3 million. Let's say that is the number, JD. 1 year, $3 million. Tomorrow we get Ekeler 1 year, $3 million. I mean, where do you stand with that? You wouldn't knock that, would you?
I mean, I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate it at all. My thing is, are you giving somebody $3 million? You got to start now. We rob Peter to pay Paul. Now look, you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. So it's like you realize you're taking money out of your kitty, okay, to pay a guy that you don't necessarily need. I mean, we don't necessarily need it. And I'm telling you, we got a 7th round pick. We got Daenerys Prince who could come in if he found anything like as far as like what he's been able to do during the offseason and whatnot. He runs hard. He don't say a whole lot. But we know he's got ability. So if he's been watching Pacheco and those guys for an entire year, CEH, McKinnon, he might be another diamond in the rough. He might be that 1-2 punch that we needed. You know what I mean? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the only reason I say that. I don't want to start giving money out to people we don't necessarily need. We need to sign some other jokers first, priority first. Hey, if there's something left over, fine. But right now, hey man, sure, we need to talk about Chris Jones and Snead. That's where everything lies with me.
Well, yeah. Everything that we're talking about right now, that's all off the table until so something is done. There's closure with the Jones and Snead situation.
People like, you got $3 million. I'm over here like,
I got $3 million.
Like, yeah, we might have something. We'll see. Check back with us in a few weeks. Okay. So
but
that's what I'm gonna leave that right there, man. I don't want to have the conversation. I mean, we could talk about it like different guys coming in. My thing is, we may have the pieces on the team if they trust them to do the job.
And that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
But there's two things I'll say. So, I'm looking at CH's contract this past year. CH made $3.4 million this year, so that's $3.4 million off the table right there. You could bring 1 year, $3 million for. I mean, if you do it that way, 3.4 for CH, $3 million for Austin Ekeler.
But maybe they weren't trying to pay another $3 million for a back. Maybe like, man, that's part of where our money was coming. They like, okay, see you later, CH. You know what I mean? So they're calculating all these different things up, man. Hey, Austin Ekeler's coming in for another $3 million. No. We don't want a guy for $3 million. We got to pay these guys first. Let's do these first, right?
So, like, I guess my whole thing is when I see this whole deal with Ekeler, or the 1 year potentially $3 million or $4 million, when I look at that, right? So CH he made 3.4 this year. Forget that. But I guess the way I see it, we are at a luxurious standpoint here where we do have a running back who's a 7th round pick making. Pacheco made this past year $889,000. I mean, people talk about the Niners situation. They have a quarterback who's making nothing, a seventh round. He's making what Pacheco's making, essentially. But and like they could say, oh, we could spend all over the other places. So like if our main guy's making $800,000, then you could say, okay, well, we're gonna get Ekeler, bring him in for $3 million because that kind of offsets everything, and we can afford to spend on him.
If jokers are trying to get another $800,000 guy if they can to do the same thing. Brett Veach is not trying to spend no money on a running back. Look, I get what you're saying. Mm-hmm. I do, and it in a way it makes sense. But if we're trying to save money and we're trying to pinch pennies to get the guys in here, the guys that we need, all right, if we need to take that $3 million to keep Chris Jones happy, I would rather take that $3 million and give it to Chris Jones, okay, or Jerry Sneed or however it works, right, or maybe a Drew Tranquil for a long-term deal. You know what I mean? So we start looking at it. Is Austin Ekeler going to help us? Pacheco runs hard. He does all the things we ask him to do. We got guys in here that can, filter in and do some other things, right? They've got a little of experience. They've been on a team with a championship, what it takes, what it means, what is required of you. Plus, you have a great running backs coach to help you understand that.
Yep.
Right? So you have somebody that can help you develop in that whole process. So Austin Ekeler, man, we'll see you, buddy. We'll see you. We got some left. Okay. If Veach got a little bit more money pinched in, we'll see what we can do. All right.
I will say when I saw it initially, I laughed at it, but I think I can be swayed on this whole Austin Ekeler business, JD.
I hear you. Right.
But I will say, yeah, you're 100% right. There's other guys we need to, use that money with who, are pending free agents or just other positions of need that we can use that money with. Before running back. And 100%. And Pacheco, like you said, Pacheco's a great reason as to why you don't really need to pay for a running back when you can find $800,000 running back who's getting 25 carries in the playoffs a game. So
right,
100%. And with that, talking about a position of need, there's a guy I hinted at on our show on Monday when we talked about receivers. And it's a guy that you know very well, JD. You know his family very well. So as we highlighted on Monday, that wide receiver room is going to be completely revamped, and many think it should be revamped, which I think you and I are in agreement with that. So most fans are hoping for a Mike Evans, T. Higgins, Michael Pittman Jr. type of guy. But for me, it's the potential cap casualties that I'm looking at. Guys like Mike Williams, not top of my list by any means, but that's a guy who's a cap casualty. But the other guy is a guy like Tyler Lockett. And we look at the whole body of work here, what guys I'm going to be looking for as we get to free agency when these cap casualties happen, is a guy who has already been paid, is a guy who's probably towards the end of his career. I'm not saying it is the end of his career, but towards the end, but he's already been paid, and he does not have a ring. So Mike Evans, he wants to get paid. He wants to continue to get paid, and he already has a ring. So that's definitely not and I've seen like the Jeff Darlington had a whole thing this week about bringing in Mike Evans. Like, no, we're not going to spend money on Mike Evans. Right. But so Tyler Lockett's a guy, and he fits that mold what I'm talking about big time. He's already gotten paid, doesn't have a ring, and the beauty is he's from the area. His dad played with the Chiefs. His dad, his dad very well, and Kevin Lockett. So he's got 2 more years in Seattle. But the reason why they're saying he was a potential cap casualty is he's turning 32 during the season this year, and he could be designated as a post-June 1st cut and save that team $17 million. I mean, that's a lot of money that they could save by cutting him. So that's why he's up there as far as name to watch. But while he's up there in age, Lockett has shown he can still bowl. He had 894 yards receiving this year, 5 touchdowns last season. Lockett has also had at least 1,000 yards from scrimmage from 2018 through 2022. So super consistent guy. And in my opinion, I think he'd be an ideal weapon next to Travis Kelce and Rashee Rice. JD, we've talked about Lockett before in the show last year when there was a chance that he could be, when they had the Geno Smith year, when they thought they were going to kind of blow it up, but they kept him around. And now there's a chance this could actually finally happen. What do you make of a Tyler Lockett potential? How would he fit in the scheme that we have?
Oh man, Tyler Lockett. First off, I'm elated that we're actually bringing his name up to talk about it, because we were talking about it last year, potentially of doing something like a trade or something to get Tyler here. I am 1,000% with this. If this happens, trying to get this done, I'm on board 100%. 1,000%, I said. Look, Tyler is a guy that would still take the top off the defense, has great hands tracking the football, runs great routes, get open, one-on-one, you name it, zone, whatever, he can do it all. He can do it all. He's got incredible speed, an easy target to throw to. It all makes sense. This is like one of those like stories that you use as a, kind of, you write down in a Hallmark deal. Man comes home, plays for the team that his dad played for, wins a championship here. I mean, I couldn't think of any better scenario than something like that happening with Tyler coming back home to Kansas City. Really. Just remember him as a kid and, even as an adult, man, he's such a well-rounded, wonderful man. And a consummate pro through and through. Like, you can't get a better teammate or better player on your team than a Tyler Lockett. You can't. You really can't. He'll do wonders for the young guys that's in the building too. And like I said, coming back here as well from playing in Kansas State. Come on, man. I mean, what more could you hope for? This can't be no better scenario than something like this happening. And you see, he's still productive. He's productive. He's 31 years old. Tyler has at least another 2 or 3 years in him.
At least. That man doesn't get hit.
No, at least. So he takes care of his body. He knows what he's doing out there, right? And so this will be just an easy scenario to me. So what if he flipped MVS's, what he's making, and give to Tyler? Shoot. I mean, you're gonna get everything you wanted. You're gonna get everything and more that you thought you was gonna get with MVS. Let me put it that way. How about that? Okay. Even more than some. And not to mention everything else he's going to help out in the locker room, in the community, whatever else. This makes 100 total sense to me.
The interesting you said that about the salary cap. So we would save around like 11.5 million or 12 million, close to that, with MVS if we were to cut him. But the interesting part is when I was looking into this, the cap experts project if Lockett hits the open market, they project him to make around 11 million, which is like, wait, 11 million, that's almost the exact amount of money we're going to save if we are able to, if we do part ways with MVS. So I thought that was pretty interesting how that's like almost like identical to what we would save there. And it's like, wait, you mean we can get the production that Lockett gives us for the money we pay MVS? That's a no-brainer.
Man, easy. That's easy. That's an easy choice. If I'm Veach, I'm like, yeah, absolutely. As soon as this happens, let's make it so. Let's get it done. I'm just looking over here at the picture that you got of Tyler and Kevin. Mm-hmm. That's funny. The body types and whatnot. It'd be amazing. It'd be absolutely amazing. But he'd be coming home. I mean, he'd be welcoming him in open arms. People would just love to have a Tyler Lockett. I think if you go get it, Tyler Lockett, they could go get maybe some other guy. Shoot, even, we got, Anthony Miller on the team. He's a guy that has got a lot of, lot of ability. So there's things you can do there. With Rashid Rice, come on, man. Like Tyler brings up our offense immediately like this, without a doubt. It's not even a question if he's a number one. It's not. Because he was producing more than what's the name of than Metcalf out there at times. He was. Times and Metcalf was supposed to be the guy, and Tyler was killing him. He was killing him. So It's not even. I don't think it's even. You already know what you got. You know what you're gonna get with Tyler Lockett. You know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, and the beauty about what you just said is the fact that like everyone's talking about, oh, we'll sign, T. Higgins, and then we'll also draft somebody in the second round. It's like, wait. No, because we've talked about on the show a lot. It's all we need is one other guy to kind of take the load off Kelsey, take the load off Rice, and you have a Lockett type who can talk about the 3 levels, JD, all over the field,
all over the
field. That's all we need. And it's like, okay, you get Lockett. You don't need to draft a receiver high, top 3 rounds this year. You don't have to. You can maybe it's a very deep receiver class too, so you can maybe draft one in the 4th round if you want later on in the draft, and then you can actually rely on, like you said, an Anthony Miller type, or maybe we see what Justin Ross has in the tank. You don't really have to go get another guy because you have 3 legit receiving options now with Lockett, Rice, and Kelsey. And you mentioned the fact that he can take the top off defenses. But the one thing that we talked about, and this is a kind of an underrated part of his game, is the move the chains aspect of what Lockett brings.
Yeah. Well, I'm just looking right here at the comparison between him and T. Higgins. And Lockett did everything T. Higgins could do. There ain't no difference. I'm looking at him right now. T. Higgins' best year was 2021, 74 catches for 1,091 yards, right? Go to Locks. Let me see what his best year was. He just like in that time. Well, he caught 100 passes for 1,054. Then the next year he had 73 catches for 1,171, 16.1 yards and 8 touchdowns. That's 2021, same year. Lock blows it out the water. So you get everything that you need in the T. Higgins, other than the T. Higgins younger. That's it. That's all. But we want this 3P for these next couple of years, 2 or 3 years. Man, Lock gonna give you 70-something balls a year. Every bit of it. Get you another young guy drafting. You set. Because you want a guy, you want a vet that's going to teach guys how to be a vet. So you're actually getting a coach also too in this. They can teach your guys. How do you even put a price tag on that? Can't even measure those things that you're actually getting from a guy that has, this type of experience, this type of, character that he is as a man. Yeah, you're not going to get any better. I'm telling you. If that opens up, I would not hesitate to try to get a Tyler Lockett here. I would go above and beyond to get a guy like that. No doubt about it. No doubt.
Yeah.
So.
And I'd be curious if this does happen. Obviously, it's a cap casualty. That's what they're projecting him to be. And I'm seeing a comment here. I'm to Brown. The cap experts project him to be about $11 million per year if he hits the open market. So that's what projecting him to be. And we also talk about the element of coming back home, not having a ring, being 31, going on 32. It may not be $11 million a year. I mean, he may take a discount to come home and maybe play a 1 year or 2 year deal. I mean, that's the thing. It's like everyone wants the younger guys, the Michael Pittmans, the T. Higgins of the world. Yeah, obviously, but you're gonna have to pay up primo for those guys, and we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
They're gonna cost the double of what Lockett is making. Maybe 3 times. Ain't nobody trying to do that for what? And you're not gonna get the type of caliber a guy and character experience that Lockett has. I'm looking at these years, man. He's still producing.
I know.
In 73 catches, he had 894 yards, which is the down year. That was it on the yards. But he still had 79 catches, 80 catches. Come on, man. That's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer to me. I mean, really. So,
especially if people are trying to say that he's going to cost too much, well, they need to look at what MVS was making and say, hey, tell me if those stats match that contract.
Well,
But if this does happen, we need to get his father on the show to talk to us about where Tyler's head's at right now. But we'll see with that. But yeah, I think ideally, if you talk about a receiver that we need, forget the names. Ideally, a guy who fits what we need, Lockett would be that. Like his game would be perfect for what we need.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about his hands. You don't have to worry about deep balls. You don't have to worry about anything. That's not the question. It's not. So the only knock would be his age. and he's still producing. So he's still producing at a high level. Like you said, he's not taking hits. He's not getting hurt. This is almost like the same thing with the question on D-Hop. We couldn't use him. We definitely should have used D-Hop last year.
Yeah.
You know, we brought the same element to the game in the locker room, you know, to that wide receiver core. But, you know, we managed. We got through it. We don't want to do that again this year. Mm-hmm. You want you a guy that is a number one. Tyron Lockett is a clear number one. It's just, you know, ain't no question. He's number 2s and 3s. Oh, Tyron Lockett is the number one guy. Okay. So.
And two, yeah, the point you made about having a veteran in the room, it's like you don't want. Let's say we do, you know, we're probably going to get rid of MVS. He's gone. So the elder statesman in the room is Rice. I mean, come on, and then people want to draft a receiver in the top 2 rounds. Come on, you have to have a guy in the room who's been there and done it. Why is create the drop production and receiving core pressure? JD, do you want to answer that question?
Bring it up. Yeah, different question. But why this discussion came up? What created the drop in production in the receiving core? Pressure, called the big head. It could be a number of things. Okay. I don't think pressure when they started dropping the football, without a doubt. I think pressure was one of the significant things that happened. Called the big head. It could have been some things there as far as like sometimes when you have a lot of experience or you feel like you've been in the league for a few years, you don't feel like you have to work as hard. Okay. And maybe some bought into that, smelling their own selves a little bit more than what they were. And that happens because you don't go back to doing the things that got you there. You got to do something above and beyond. When they start doing that toward the end of the season and you can see the production, you see how things changed. But I think a lot of it happened. It could have been some immaturity there, some growth that happened where people weren't being held accountable. And that's where that takes a coordinator. I'm sure, you know, Embry was doing a good job to convey to get these guys out of here. But that's where EB was coming in and, you know, he was getting on those guys. He get on those guys if they want to do something. And if you have, you know, a young coach trying to establish himself, it's always going to be a challenge when you have guys that's been there in the room before trying to insert your position in a sense, in a way. But they get it all squared away. They figured it out. But I think a lot of it is under Brown right there was a little bit of pressure, caught the big head, and maybe didn't work as hard. Possibly. That could have been it. But once they got on the same page, man, it's all it takes. Sometimes it just takes some things, you know, some tweaks here and there. Okay, and they finally got it done.
Yep. Seeing a question here for HD Dreamin'. What's the dev cap for MVS? His dev cap is $2 million. His cap hits 13.9, so that would mean we would get about 11.9 million back if we were to cut him. So yeah. So it seems like a no-brainer if Lockett does become available. It's just pretty much, and that's the thing. It's like not like, oh, we're creating space for that. No, it's literally MVS for Lockett kind of swap if the projection for Lockett is correct on 11 million per year. And yeah, I mean, he's coming back home and he's playing for a championship now. So it's like he's going to solidify something. And I think for most of these vets who don't have a ring, you're going to come to a place where you can actually compete for a championship when you've already made your money. It's the twilight at the end of your career. And the one thing I love about Lockett, JD, and you played amongst Torrey Holt and stuff. The one thing I love about Lockett, which reminds me of Torrey Holt. Do you remember how Torrey Holt never took any hits? He caught a pass. If he knew he wasn't going to get an extra yard out of that, he was go down with it. I mean, that prolonged his career. That's prolonging Lockett's career.
That's true. That's what happens.
That's a savvy bet.
I hate, you know what? I get it. It's a business decision. But I hate seeing guys go down. I want to see a guy run over somebody, right? I want to see that. I do want to see that. And, you know, guys, but, you know, it's not back in the day like how we were doing it. You get a guy in the wide receiver trying to run over somebody. Now, Rasheed Rice was doing it.
Yep.
But we start seeing Diggs and those little dudes catch the football. Somebody come in, they get down real fast. I'm like, oh, you a scaredy cat, you? Take a hit. Run over somebody. Right?
The track's a long career, JD.
I get it. No, look, I get it. I understand. I'm just, me. I'm trying to be a wrecking ball when I'm out there. So
yeah, you're old school.
Yeah.
Okay, so final topic here. So going with another ESPN speculative report here, and this is something that a lot of people aren't thinking about right now, is the left tackle spot. So obviously, skill players, Chris Jones, L'Jarius Sneed, that's everyone's thinking about right now. Right now, it's Chris Jones and L'Jarius Sneed watch for everyone right now. But there's some openings, specifically in the offensive line, that some would say you can make the argument that the blind side for Patrick Mahomes might be the most important position on the team. But we were able to make do with Donovan Smith this past year, who had a really great postseason stretch for us. I know he got a lot of crap all throughout the season. He got hurt. Wanye stepped in, played all right. But Donovan Smith played well down the stretch. And JD and I were talking about when we get to the playoffs, who's going to play, Wanye or Donovan Smith. JD was like, no, Donovan Smith's going to play when we get to the playoffs. And look what happened. So looking at this, so Jeremy Fowler of ESPN said that his one prediction for this offseason is an upgrade at the left tackle spot. And he was pointing to 33-year-old left tackle in Tyron Smith from the Dallas Cowboys, which is an interesting one. 33, it's very similar to what we did with Donovan Smith, getting an older guy, elder statesman to come in for a one-year spot. But this is a guy who may be a Hall of Famer right now. They say if he comes to a team and wins a ring, he'll be a surefire Hall of Famer. So what better place to come to than Kansas City as of right now? But per PFF, while Tyron Smith is a little older in the tooth, they're long in the tooth, he had a 98.1 pass blocking efficiency rating, was second best among all tackles with at least 750 blocking snaps, and he allowed just one sack last year and 18 pressures during the regular season. Both numbers were tied for second place in the respective categories among 50 qualifying players. So, JD, what's your thoughts on going from Donovan to Tyron Smith? And what are your thoughts on moving on and getting a different left tackle instead of just building on what we already have with Wanye Morris? Well, I think forget the Tyron Smith aspect. I think it's the bigger conversation. What do we do at the left tackle spot?
Yeah, I like Wanye Morris. I thought he did a decent job coming in. I don't know. Do you retain a Donovan Smith for another year? I think he came here and he fell in love with the Chiefs. Could the Chiefs get something done with him? Possibly. Maybe another team-friendly deal that we got him for, because this was like, come in and prove yourself. Well, he got hurt, but he did a good job for us. He did a good job for us
Down the stretch.
So everything that Donovan did, as far as playing left tackle for Patrick, I think Patrick appreciated that. I think the O-line did a decent job overall. Now, obviously, we had a lot of penalties and holding calls and all those different things, right? Okay, but we got it all squared away. I think when you want to keep playing musical chairs with your offensive line. Put it that way. You don't want to keep doing that. Tyron Smith, I don't know what he's going to want, trying to come in. I don't shoot.
The cap experts said he would demand around, projections-wise, $12.5 million per year.
See, look, they can do. See, that's what I'm talking about. They keep talking about projection, cap-wise projection. Hey, man, we ain't got look.
These are cap experts, JD.
Yeah, the bank is broke. We broke over here, baby. What you going to do? We are holding on with our fingertips, trying to get guys to stay here, right? And if people keep bringing in, hey, we got this guy for $12 million, this guy for 3 or 4. Hey, we don't have no money to be giving folks until we get these first guys done with. Okay, conversation starts when once we get the necessary guys we need out of the way. Now we can have these conversations. Other than that, man, it's just conversation, just talk. It's just talk. I don't know if Tyron Smith could go, but Donovan Smith, we can keep him for what he's doing, for the amount he got. Sure, why not? So,
where do you prioritize left tackle? Because I mean, I'm seeing comments here. The Jets is apparently he said he wants to go to the Jets. I didn't know that. But this is also a guy talking about guys who are prioritizing different things at the end of their career. He's got 2 rings now. So signing to come back and just play with the Chiefs, that he may just want to go with the highest bidder. And,
I get it. Hey, man, look, if he wants to go to the highest bidder, I ain't got no problem with it whatsoever. Hey, appreciate it. Shake your hand and we'll move on. That's shoot. That's what you do. But the thing is, shoot, you want to win another ring? You know you're winning over here. By all means. He came here to try to, obviously resurrect his career, all those different things, and he might have done that. Then again, he may not. So I don't know. But we know it's a high priority getting the left tackle. You got to have a good left tackle here. Wanye did a good job. I think he came in and he filled in really well for Donovan when he was down. There were some deficiencies that he still needed to get better with. His feet are still a little lazy, not as fast as they should be. And I know he'll work at during the offseason. Do you go after a guy in the draft? Okay. Get the guy that you actually wanted. We didn't get a left tackle they actually wanted in the draft. So do you go get a guy again? I don't know. And I'll take it back to this. Until we get these guys done with that we need a sign, we can't talk about anything right now of who else we need. We pulling out our pockets like, hey, man, like what you want to do? We ain't got nothing left. We pinching pennies over here right now. So
where do you talk about priority wise? Obviously, Chris Jones. Forget Chris Jones and Snead.
Yeah.
Where does left tackle fall priority wise, or do you think that Wanye is that left tackle?
Oh man, he's a top priority. I think Wanye is good enough to be a starting left tackle in the NFL. Need a little bit more consistency, a little bit more strength. Him getting his feet together is another thing. I think that goes into what the coaches trust. That's what they have to evaluate. I got somewhat of a sample size to believe that I don't think he would have been good all season for us. Put it that way. When you look at, we're talking about what Crosby did to him, is completely outmatched. It wasn't even close. And so that was the exposure, because you realize exactly how much more he had to grow and he had to get better. So
and it wasn't just Crosby; it was their other end too. The young guy.
Yeah, everybody was taking bites of him. So, so let's just be honest here. It is absolutely a priority. My thing is, if you could keep Donovan here, fine. That's what we could do. If not, then do you go get, a 34-year-old Tyron Smith? That's a big joker right there, man. That's sucker right there. That's a big boy. That's a big joker.
Huge.
Yeah. I mean, if you get something team friendly, you keep talking about 12, and then you got to throw him some money. I tell you what you could do. You could take some of the money you got over on the right side and put over on some of the left on the restructure. I'm sure that's been a topic of conversation. So, yeah. I'm sure it's been topic of conversation, man, about working some of these contracts out.
Wow.
Hey,
JD, I was looking because I remember last year when we signed Taylor, and they structured so it wasn't so much of a cap hit the first year. I'm looking at his this year. I'm kind of upset that I just looked at this. They are paying him a lot of money, man. Cap hit's 24 mil. His dead cap is 34 mil. Wow. Man.
Yes, sir. Yep.
And then Veach, on the other hand, is trying so hard not to pay Chris Jones a lot of money, but you're going to throw Juwan Taylor all that money. That's like.
And look, this is clearly on production. What the guy's giving up. What we got to look at. What this is what it is about the NFL. It is about what you produce, what you do on the field. Period. That's bottom line. So, hey man, shoot. If we need to get some of that money back. If we will help out a little bit. We need to go on and do some things to get guys in here. It's business. It's all business here. It's all business. You know, he got a nice grip on the signing bonus. That's good money. It's good money. Who said it? Thieving money. I don't. He got paid a good amount. I wouldn't say he's thieving as much. He's doing what he's supposed to do. He's trying to get as much money as possible. I think, because of what transpired this year, right? The holding calls, the penalties, and all of that. Then everybody was like, "Hey, man, was it worth all of that?" You know, that's what Veach and them was like. Look, I get it. We needed to get him in. We wanted him to do some different things, but we had to reevaluate how much money is actually going into this, because you want to be able to sign dudes to help guys out. And especially if you're trying to make the offensive line still the best to protect the best quarterback in football, it is absolutely a priority, Marcus. I know you asked that before. It is absolutely a priority. Yes, it is.
Yeah. Going into last year, that was amongst I think that was our top priority. It was receiver and tackle. Obviously, Jones' situation, but the OBJ stuff was kind of the number one thing with going into the free agency. And then now we're talking about like, oh man, we're gonna have to try to get a budget, you know, a Tyron Smith, or bringing back Donovan Smith now. And it was like, you know, we got Donovan Smith at the end of free agency pretty much. So like, yeah, it's interesting how the conversation changed. And then another thing too, we paid a right tackle, which you could argue and say you can find a right tackle for cheaper money than you can with the left tackle. And we threw all that to Jawan Taylor with the contract that he got.
So is all this considering the cap going up $18 million? $18 million, we're going to eat into that real quick.
Oh, yeah.
I'm the Brown. Easy with the guys that we got to sign, without a doubt.
Yeah.
So all of us talking about like what we will have after or everything that we're trying to do with the guys that we got. So
it does help. It does help though.
I mean, it helps. Yeah, it definitely helps. But we talking about Snead. We talking about Chris Jones. We talking about Drew Tramp. We'll try to probably signing him to a longer deal because we don't want to keep Willie Gay. It's probably going to cost us money. I'm sure Willie's going to get paid. There's a lot of different things there. A lot of different things we got to think about. So Wendy said, move him to the left. No, Wendy. Now, Wendy, I will say this, and I think it was funny you said you could buy a coat for fall start yellow. Funny. That's funny, Wendy. I don't. If you play right tackle and you had a lot of holding calls and penalties over on the right side, which is your original position, I don't think that is practical to move a guy to the left side and maybe possibly see him struggle. If he had a problem holding in penalties like that last year, no, don't want to do it. Get a guy that is position, who plays that position, who is detailed that position, because it is different. It is right and left is different. It's reality of it, man. So.
Yeah, well, so we'll see what happens with it. We got a lot of time, but tomorrow's going to be the first. Going to be the first thing that falls with the tag opening up for teams to go out and tag their guys. So we'll see.
Yeah, these are very interesting conversations, man. There's a lot of moving parts for the Chiefs this offseason. I'm telling you, it's going to be a wild ride. Believe me, y'all hold on, because it's going to be a wild ride. Yeah. So.
Yep. Yeah. So JD and I'll be back on Monday as we go in depth on another position group, and I think I know where we're going with this next one based on this conversation we just had. So it'll be an interesting show on Monday. But we hope everybody enjoy the show. We'll see you guys on Monday. Love you, everybody.
Love you guys. All right, look, y'all take care. Enjoy y'all. Come see us again soon. All right. Oh, appreciate it. Oh, great conversation.
Oh, I'm the Brown. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you very much, man. God bless y'all. Y'all take care. Love you. Marcus, love you.
Have a good weekend. Love you, buddy.
All right.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your